wedge this hinge out. I can put it over that way so that so overall this hinge is sticking away from the jamb or from this casing by an 1/8 of an inch, thereby pushing the bottom of the door over. Because see, look at the bottom, it's touching. So if I did that down there, I could push that over. That would raise this up. I'd do the same thing. That would raise this door up, wouldn't it? It would get closer to the edge here, right? It would lift this door up, and I'd have a gap. I'd have a better gap there. The one thing that's going to do is, this is an exterior door. It's got a door shoe on it. See this shoe? I told you this is why I was dreading working on this door. See, this door shoe fits over the door like that. It actually has this little bit. And usually if this was an exterior door, this is like a rain drip thing. See how it curves down like that. So if it rains, the rain hits here and it drips down away from your door, hits your threshold and goes out. Kind of like, see this threshold here? If you can imagine this being outside, the rain comes down, hits that, comes away from the door, hits your threshold, the threshold's at an angle, comes out like that. They just happen to put this type of door shoe on this door, even though there's no rain. I kind of like this kind of door shoe because it gives you this added lip to put screws in this, on this side or actually just that side, and nothing on this side. Okay? The other way, they have different shoes. They got one that looks just like this, that just comes across the bottom. And then you have a gap at the door, you just don't see this trim. This one makes it more solid. It's like a U-shaped deal. That's why I call it a shoe. At the bottom of that shoe, there's weather stripping, see? And that's attached on there, that's rubber. And here's my thought here. Now they do that because they like to have everything sealed off. Okay, for exterior doors, going from the house to outside, you do that, and then that seals on the top of your threshold out here. Well, when I raise this, and when you close the door, you can hear the sealer if it's been adjusted properly. Hear it? Nothing's rubbing other than the rubber is rubbing on the threshold. So theory has it, you're not supposed to see any air under here, but you see right here, there's just a little bit, isn't there? So see, they could have adjusted this before you install these screws. You can raise or lower this. They could have lowered this down a little bit more, and then this edge still would have covered up the door bottom, and they would do that. Usually when I install these, there's a screw there. I get it adjusted just right, and then I try to put the screw right in the middle of that slot. There's a slot there, so theory has it, if you ever have to adjust this, you can undo these screws. You can push it up about a 1/16 to an 1/8, or you could pull it down a 1/16 or an 1/8. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure exactly how they did it, but the reason why I'm explaining this to you, so you're getting an in-depth theory when you watch VideoJoe's videos, don't you? You never know what I'm going to say. I didn't think I was going to be talking about that at all. Okay? The reason why I'm telling you all that is because no matter what I do, once I lift this door up, guess what's going to happen? This gap underneath the door, that little gap that you see right now that lets bugs in, that lets air in, cold air in the winter, hot air in the summer, that is going to be bigger because the door is going to be up higher once I push it over. That makes sense? This whole door is going to be lifted up. I'm going to end up doing that. I'm not going to finish today until I get this frickin' door fixed. And once that happens, I could decide to leave that gap. That gap's going to get bigger there, and it's going to taper from there over. And so tomorrow, guess what's happening? The door, or the painters are coming tomorrow. They're gonna paint. And so when I get done lifting this door up exactly where I want, I'm gonna adjust this door shoe too, and I'm gonna make a separate video of that probably. So I have to undo these screws, pull that down to get a nice seal on there. Okay, guess what else I'm gonna have to do? I thought of, in the middle of the night, I woke up thinking about it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do that too because they're painting. Well, the painters might do it on their own, but I'm gonna probably do it for the painters to help them out. This type of door jamb has an actual little groove that's notched in like a saw curve all the way up there. Have you ever seen those at the hardware, at the box store where the door jambs are? Sometimes you'll see that and you think, what's that for? Well, that's for this weather stripping. And this weather stripping folds back. It's kind of like a V. You see how it is? It just kind of folds back. The door hits on that as the door closes, and it gives you a nice seal. See? And everything needs to be adjusted properly to give you a nice tight seal around the doors. Well, guess what most people who don't know what they're doing do, or some painters that don't know, or they're in a rush. They try to paint this and cut it in, or they put masking tape on there. You got to pull that. I mean, how are you going to get that painted all the way? Pull this back here, how are you going to hold that back to paint that? They try to cut in, and you look, you see, next time you see a door jamb like this, and if it's been repainted, and you see a little paint on there, you say, yeah, I see what Joe's talking about. Well, this is in that saw curve. So, and it stops, there's a separate piece. See that top piece, there's a separate top piece, and then these sides come off. So I'm gonna pull those off. And I just take a putty knife on the back side, once you get it started a little bit, you can pull that out and it kind of zips out. You just have to be kind of careful with it as you go. Then when the painters get all done painting, then I can slip that stuff back in. And I'll just have to see how they do it. The top one, lots of times the top one goes from left to right all the way. Or maybe they did the left side all the way up and the top pushes into the left one. You'll just have to check so you put it back in the very same way. And then I'll make sure the left goes to the left, the right goes to the right, just so that it fits exactly right. Most of the time they do, but if somebody installed it later, maybe one's cut shorter than the other side or whatever. And then I'll put that back in. But I'll make a separate video of that too. And I'll make a separate video of this. Look at this. See, the deadbolt, I can hear it hitting. And see, with it locked, you think this is locked straight up. Now watch. I'm gonna put this up straight up where it was, okay? You think that's locked? It's been like this for 17 years, okay? You think that's locked? If it is, I should not be able to take my finger and push this latch in. I should not be able to do that, okay? What? Yeah, that's been like that this whole time. That means that if you forgot to lock this door, or lots of times, then you might have a passage handle here, which means no lock, and you'd only have your deadbolt. And your deadbolt's like that, you think, oh, that's locked. Well, somebody could get in there on the other side with a credit card, put it in there, or a knife blade, or putty knife, whatever, get to the back side of your latch and just push it in until it moves back. Because you're like that. They're just grabbing that a little bit. They do a little bit, and then they open your door. Well, watch how far this has to go before it clicks. And okay, I felt it right there. See where this is? Now you can't disengage it. See, if I don't go that far, if I go right there, you can still push it. So there, it clicked. Did you hear that? That's how far that has to go into your door jamb. Wasn't going that far, was it? Look. It's only going to there. You see, this has to be cut out of there. It's got to be notched out so the latch fits all the way in there. They didn't do that. Whoever installed that, they weren't paying attention, were they? I'm going to make an entire video of that and explain that. But enough of that. I'm working on this, and I'm going to see what I can do. First, I'm going to see how hard it is to move that spring loaded action, okay? All right, if this is a video you want to watch, now that you've seen all my explanations for the last 2, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, hey, I'm going to keep going on this, and it might be a part 1, part 2, who knows? But keep watching if you're interested and see how I'm going to fix this door.